A new report in The Intercept has uncovered shocking details about the way a private contractor, Tiger Swan, surveilled and attempted to have prosecuted water protectors and other protesters who were against the DAPL pipeline. We got a stack of documents from a contractor at Tiger Swan. We got another stack of documents through a public records request, matched those two to paint a portrait of what Tiger Swan was doing as a modern version of the Pinkertons. Now, this was a mercenary force in the late 19th, early 20th century that worked with coal barons and steel barons and violently suppressed union organizing efforts, strikes, and any other populist movements. This was a pre-Blackwater Blackwater. And so what you have now is Tiger Swan saw the success of Blackwater during the Iraq War, created itself out of veterans of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, and now they rent themselves out to these private companies around the country to do security around areas where there are going to be demonstrations. At DAPL and elsewhere, what they are now doing is coordinating directly with the actual public police. So they're doing both surveillance and collection. They are also infiltrating these activist groups and sowing dissent within those ranks in order to try to delegitimize them. This is not my speculation. This is what comes from the daily reports that Tiger Swan produced for the pipeline company that, in fact, Donald Trump has been invested in the past. Any questions we want to take on either?
Okay, Ritva LaFlower is concerned about the Pinkertons. Is there any violation of law? Should the ACLU be looking into this? Sounds like a huge lawsuit.
That's an excellent question. Did the Pinkertons, the Tiger Swan Pinkertons, step over the line here? I think if there was, let's say, an attorney general in the state or in the federal government who was sympathetic to civil liberties, then there certainly may be some cases that could be brought that would suggest that they had violated the rights of the First Amendment rights of these demonstrators. We don't currently have such an attorney general. The law is, in many ways, as political as anything else, and so in this particular case, it's unlikely that any cases are going to be brought. But I think this is something that has legs. I think that Democrats and Republicans who are concerned about civil liberties are going to continue to look at it. This isn't the last piece that we've done. We have a lot more documents that we're going to be reporting on. Hopefully we'll continue to get more because this isn't over. And people who think, well, okay, it's unfortunate that this has happened to some crazy left-wingers protesting out in North Dakota and defending a Native American tribe. That's unfortunate, but who cares? In fact, this is something that impacts people all across the country. Just in eastern Pennsylvania right now, for instance, just regular people in the community are battling a pipeline now near Lancaster. These are just regular folks who don't want to see their groundwater destroyed, don't want to see their everything torn up, and they are being treated in the same way that the protesters at DAPL are being treated, and by the same company. Tiger Swan referred to these protesters as jihadis, as people who were ideologically and religiously driven, like insurgents, and predicted that after DAPL was approved, that this insurgency would move to other places in the country, and therefore you need to keep Tiger Swan on contract, because there's some odd incentives here. Tiger Swan might not actually believe all of the things that it's putting in its intelligence reports, but it needs to kind of trump up the fear in order to continue the retainer checks coming. So there's a kind of twisted set of incentives at work here.
Do you want to share how the Intercept came into possession of the internal documents?
We got a tip from a Tiger Swan contractor and a number of documents, and then that kind of becomes breadcrumbs that you can then file Freedom of Information Act requests in order to get more of these documents, because as Tiger Swan coordinates with public agencies and public police forces, then as that coordination moves more and more into the public sphere, that makes it susceptible to public records requests. If they were merely a private police force, then the only way that we would be able to get their documents would be through people leaking it, and I'm glad that also happens. But once they start coordinating with public agencies, then if we know what to look for, we can get in that way as well.